In fact, a British survey suggests that women who cheat are most likely to do so during the 4 days surrounding their ovulation. And that for a man can be devastating.
I can speak for all men. There's not a man out there that knows, unless he's had a DNA, that he's 100% sure that that child is his.
A quiet street in the sleepy town of Big Spring, Texas. This is home to Morgan Wise, a 38-year-old train driver. 4 years ago, all the certainties he had about his family life were shattered. Morgan had been married for 13 years and had 4 children. His youngest was extremely ill and was diagnosed as having cystic fibrosis, a genetic disease that's passed on only when both parents have the CF gene.
Knowing that I carried this gene, didn't know I had it, and passed it on to my son, and then, watching him, what he had to go through, it was, oh yeah, it tore you up inside.
3 years later, the marriage ended. Morgan gained custody of his 4 children and continued to care for his youngest son. To confirm he was a carrier, Morgan was tested for the CF gene. A few weeks later, the doctor called him in for the results.
He said, "I got the test results back, but you need to come in." And I said, "What was it?" He said, "I can't tell you over the phone, you need to come in." And so I went in, and he told me, he said, that you're not a carrier of cystic fibrosis.
To find out that he was not a carrier of the CF gene seemed like good news. But for Morgan, there were huge implications. There was no doubt that his little boy suffered from cystic fibrosis, which meant that both of his parents must have been carriers. The doctor had bad news for Morgan.
He just came right out and he said, "Morgan, let me ask you something. Would there be any reason for you to believe that this boy is not yours?" And I was sitting just like this, and it felt like that I just fell right out on my face. And I looked up at him, and I said, what are you talking about? What are you getting at? He said, "Morgan, there's something going on here." And he said I needed to have a DNA test done.
Only a final DNA comparison between Morgan and all of his children would reveal if he were truly the father of any of them. The tests were done. Then it was only a matter of waiting for the results.
I can remember the day that they came. It was a thick envelope. Beverly, my new wife, she had to end up opening it because I was afraid to look. She went in our bedroom, opened up the envelope, and then I could hear her crying. And then she looked up at me and said that none of the boys are yours.
Although his ex-wife disputed the results, the DNA tests proved that Morgan was not the father of his 3 boys, but was only the father of his daughter. For Morgan, as for any man in this situation, his distress was profound.
My 3 sons are not even mine. It was like I couldn't hear anything, just dead silence. And then this horrible anxiety, just deep crushing in my chest, and I began to cry. I couldn't believe it.